Something about today is not ordinary, and deep down you can feel it. Not because the calendar says Tuesday, not because the world has suddenly changed, but because there are moments in life when a person senses a quiet calling rising within. Have you ever felt that subtle pull, like you were meant to become more than you currently are? Not more famous, not more powerful, but more aligned, more awake, more aware of who you truly could be if you stopped ignoring that inner voice. Many people spend their lives waiting for a sign, assuming that transformation must arrive dramatically, like thunder splitting the sky. But what if the real signal is quieter than that? What if it sounds like a thought that keeps returning, a realization that refuses to fade, a question echoing inside your mind asking, "Who are you becoming?" The truth is, growth rarely announces itself loudly. It whispers, it nudges, it repeats, and those who are ready begin to notice. There is a reason certain days feel different. Not because the day itself holds power, but because of what you are ready to see within it. Consider this carefully. What if being chosen does not mean being singled out above others, but instead means being aware of responsibility? What if being chosen simply means you have recognized that your actions matter, your character matters, your direction matters? Suddenly, the idea of being chosen is no longer about privilege. It becomes about purpose. So what is it that the Creator, the Source, the higher power that many people across cultures believe in, would want a person to become? Not a title, not a label, not a perfect being. Perfection is not the goal of human life. Growth is, awareness is, integrity is. Think about it. Would a higher moral intelligence want you to become someone admired, or someone sincere, someone praised, or someone principled, someone impressive, or someone truthful, even when no one is watching? There is a powerful shift that happens when you stop asking what you can get from life and start asking what you can become within it. That question changes everything, because when you focus on becoming, you begin to refine your thoughts, your reactions, your habits, your intentions. You begin to notice how you speak, how you treat people, how you respond when tested. And tests always come. They come disguised as delays, disappointments, misunderstandings, and obstacles. But what if those moments are not punishments? What if they are invitations? An invitation to become patient when frustration rises. An invitation to become calm when chaos surrounds you. An invitation to become steady when emotions try to pull you off course. Anyone can stay kind when life is easy, but who are you when life is difficult? Anyone can speak gently when respected, but how do you speak when ignored? Anyone can act faithful to their values when applauded, but do you stay true when no one sees? This is where transformation begins, not in comfort, but in awareness, not in noise, but in reflection. And perhaps this is why certain days feel like turning points, because sometimes a person wakes up and realizes they are tired of repeating the same patterns, tired of reacting the same way, tired of postponing the person they know they could be. And in that moment, something shifts. Not outside them, but within. So maybe today is not just another day. Maybe it is a mirror asking you to look closely and answer honestly. Are you becoming someone your conscience respects? Are you becoming someone whose presence brings peace rather than tension? Are you becoming someone whose words heal rather than harm? Because if you are, even in small steps, then you are already stepping into the path you were meant to walk. There is a quiet truth that many people overlook, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. The person you are becoming is shaped less by the big decisions you make once in a while, and far more by the small choices you make every single day. Think about that for a moment. It is not the rare grand gesture that defines your character. It is the repeated habit. It is the tone you use when you speak to someone who cannot benefit you. It is the patience you show when no one would blame you for losing it. It is the honesty you keep when dishonesty would be easier. Why do these small moments matter so much? Because they reveal who you are when life is unscripted. Anyone can perform goodness when the spotlight is on. Anyone can act noble when recognition is guaranteed. But the true measure of a person is discovered in private decisions, in unseen reactions, in silent thoughts. That is where real transformation lives. That is where intention turns into identity. Many people ask for purpose, yet few pause long enough to understand what purpose actually requires. Purpose is not simply a feeling of importance. It is a responsibility to grow into someone worthy of the influence you have, no matter how small that influence may seem. You might not stand before crowds. You might not lead an organization, but you still affect lives every day. Your words can lift someone or discourage them. Your attitude can calm a tense moment or intensify it. Your presence can bring reassurance or discomfort. Knowing this, can you really say your daily choices are insignificant? Consider how often people wait for the perfect time to improve themselves. They tell themselves they will become more disciplined when life slows down, more patient when stress disappears, more focused when distractions fade. But what if that perfect time never arrives? What if growth was never meant to wait for ideal conditions? A seed does not wait for flawless weather to begin its journey. It pushes through soil, darkness, pressure. In the same way, growth begins when you decide that who you are becoming matters more than what you are currently facing. There is also a powerful misconception that transformation must be dramatic to be real. People imagine that becoming better requires a sudden breakthrough, a single moment that changes everything instantly. But real change is often quiet. It is choosing restraint instead of reaction. It is choosing understanding instead of judgment. It is choosing effort instead of excuses. These choices may look small from the outside, but inside they reshape you. And over time, those small shifts become a completely different version of you. So ask yourself honestly, what qualities are you practicing every day? Not what qualities you admire, not what qualities you talk about. What qualities are you actually living? Are you practicing patience or irritation, discipline or delay, gratitude or complaint, courage or avoidance? Because whatever you practice, you strengthen. And whatever you strengthen becomes part of who you are. This is why awareness is such a powerful gift. The moment you become conscious of your patterns, you gain the ability to change them. Without awareness, habits control you. With awareness, you begin to guide yourself. And that guidance is where responsibility turns into transformation. It is where intention becomes action, and action becomes character. So perhaps this day is not asking you to prove anything to the world. Perhaps it is asking you to prove something to yourself. Not through words, but through choices. Not through promises, but through practice. Because the path toward becoming who you are meant to be is not hidden somewhere far away. It is right here, woven into the decisions you make today. There comes a moment in every thoughtful life when a realization settles in quietly, but powerfully. Becoming who you are meant to be is not about adding something new to yourself, but about uncovering what has been there all along. Beneath the noise of expectations, beneath the pressure of comparison, beneath the distractions that fill your days, there is a deeper self that already knows the direction you are supposed to move. The question is not whether that inner awareness exists. The question is whether you are willing to listen to it. Why do so many people ignore that inner guidance? Often it is because the world rewards speed, noise, and appearance, while inner growth requires stillness, honesty, and patience. It is easier to scroll than to reflect, easier to react than to understand, easier to follow than to think. Yet every time you choose distraction over reflection, you postpone your own becoming. And every time you choose awareness over impulse, you step closer to the person you sense you were designed to be. Think about how often people search outside themselves for validation. They look for approval, applause, reassurance that they are on the right path, but external voices can only echo what is already happening within you. If you are uncertain inside, praise will feel temporary. If you are grounded inside, criticism will feel manageable. This is why true strength is not loud. It is steady. It does not depend on constant recognition. It depends on clarity. Clarity changes everything. When you are clear about your values, your decisions become simpler. When you are clear about your intentions, your actions become stronger. When you are clear about your direction, distractions lose their power. Suddenly, you are no longer drifting through your days reacting to whatever appears. You are moving with purpose, choosing your responses, shaping your path with intention rather than impulse. But clarity does not arrive by accident. It comes from asking yourself questions that many people avoid. Who am I when no one expects anything from me? What kind of person do I want to be remembered as? What habits are shaping me without my permission? And perhaps the most revealing question of all, if I continue living exactly as I am now, who will I become in 5 years? These questions are not meant to intimidate you. They are meant to awaken you. Because once you truly see your direction, you gain the power to adjust it. There is also something important to understand about the process of becoming. It is not linear. Some days you will feel focused and strong. Other days you will feel distracted and uncertain. That does not mean you are failing. It means you are human. Growth is not proven by never stumbling. It is proven by refusing to stay down. Each time you return to your intention, you strengthen it. Each time you correct yourself, you refine yourself. Each time you try again, you rebuild yourself. So what might this day be asking of you right now? Not perfection, not performance, not comparison. Perhaps it is simply asking for sincerity, sincerity in your efforts, sincerity in your words, sincerity in your private thoughts. Because sincerity is the foundation of all meaningful change. Without it, improvement becomes an act. With it, improvement becomes real. You may not notice dramatic results immediately. In fact, most meaningful transformation is invisible at first. Like roots growing beneath the soil, progress often happens when no one can see it. But just because it is hidden does not mean it is not happening. Every moment you choose integrity over convenience. Every moment you choose growth over comfort. Every moment you choose truth over illusion. You are shaping a future version of yourself that will one day look back at this very day and be grateful you did not give up. One day, whether sooner than you expect or later than you imagine, you will look back at this season of your life and realize it was a turning point. Not because something extraordinary happened around you, but because something meaningful happened within you. These are the moments that rarely make noise, yet they quietly redirect the course of a person's life. And the most remarkable part is that while the world may not notice the shift immediately, you will feel it. A steadiness where there used to be doubt. A calmness where there used to be restlessness. a quiet confidence where there once was hesitation. Have you ever wondered why some people seem grounded no matter what happens around them? It is not because they are free from difficulty. It is because they have decided who they are, and they refuse to abandon that decision when life tests them. They understand something many overlook: circumstances can change your environment, but only you can change your character. And when your character is guided by conscience rather than convenience, you become someone whose presence carries weight, even in silence. There is a powerful difference between chasing success and pursuing growth. Success depends on outcomes that are often outside your control. Growth depends on choices that are always within it. When you chase success alone, you may gain recognition, but still feel uncertain. When you pursue growth, you build something far more lasting: inner stability. And with stability comes resilience, the ability to stand firm when challenges arise, the ability to continue when motivation fades, the ability to remain true when pressure appears. Think about the kind of impact a single person can have simply by living with intention. A calm person can soften anger in a room. A patient person can slow chaos. A sincere person can rebuild trust. These influences may not always be obvious, but they ripple outward. Every word you choose, every reaction you control, every principle you honor, sends a signal into the world about what kind of human being you are becoming. And over time, those signals shape how others experience you and how you experience yourself. It is easy to believe that change requires perfect conditions, yet history, experience, and reflection all point to the same truth: transformation often begins in ordinary moments. A quiet decision, a private realization, a commitment made when no one else is watching. These are the seeds of lasting change. Not dramatic declarations, not sudden reinventions, but steady choices repeated until they become part of you. So perhaps this day is not asking you to prove your worth to anyone. Perhaps it is inviting you to recognize it within yourself, to see that becoming who you are meant to be is not about impressing others, but about aligning your actions with your deepest values. When that alignment happens, something powerful unfolds. Doubt loses its grip. Fear loses its authority. Distraction loses its appeal. And in their place grows a sense of direction that feels calm, clear, and quietly unshakable. Imagine moving through life with that kind of clarity. Imagine waking up each day knowing that regardless of what happens, you will respond with intention rather than impulse, with thought rather than reaction, with purpose rather than drift. That is not a distant dream reserved for a select few. It is a possibility available to anyone willing to grow deliberately, reflect honestly, and act consistently. And maybe that is the real meaning of a day like this. Not a date on a calendar, but a reminder. A reminder that who you are becoming is shaped right now, in this very moment, by the choices you make and the standards you keep. The path is already beneath your feet. The direction is already within your reach. The only question left is simple, yet profound. Now that you see it, will you walk it? There is something quietly powerful about realizing that your life is not defined by a single moment, but by a pattern of moments. A single decision may feel small when it happens, almost invisible in the flow of a normal day. Yet, when that decision is repeated, when it becomes a habit, and that habit becomes part of your character, it begins to shape your destiny. This is how transformation truly works. Not in flashes, but in formation. Not in noise, but in consistency. Many people underestimate the force of consistency because it feels ordinary. It does not look dramatic. It does not attract applause. But consistency is the quiet architect of identity. It is what turns intention into reality. Think about the person you admire most for their strength of character. Were they shaped in a single day, or were they shaped through thousands of unseen choices? Strength is rarely sudden. It is built slowly, patiently, choice by choice, response by response, day after day. And yet, there is a challenge hidden within this truth. Consistency requires discipline, and discipline requires awareness. You cannot consistently choose what is right if you are not conscious of what you are choosing. This is why self-awareness is one of the greatest turning points in a person's life. The moment you begin observing your own thoughts, your own reactions, your own patterns, you step out of autopilot and into intention. Suddenly, you are no longer drifting through your days. You are directing them. Ask yourself honestly, how often do you pause before reacting? How often do you reflect before deciding? Do not multitask. How often do you question whether your current habits are leading you toward the person you truly want to become? These questions are not meant to criticize you. They are meant to wake you. Because awareness is not about judging yourself. It is about understanding yourself. And understanding yourself is the first step toward mastering yourself. There will be moments when the path of growth feels difficult. Moments when old habits seem easier, when shortcuts seem tempting, when effort feels exhausting. In those moments, it is easy to forget why you started. But this is exactly where your transformation deepens, because anyone can stay committed when motivation is strong. The real test is whether you stay committed when motivation fades. Do you continue when it is inconvenient? Do you persist when progress feels slow? Do you remain faithful to your values when no one is reminding you? What many people do not realize is that these quiet tests are not obstacles blocking your path. They are the path. Each challenge is an opportunity to reinforce who you are becoming. Each difficulty is a chance to prove, not to others but to yourself, that your direction is stronger than your distraction. And every time you choose growth instead of comfort, you strengthen a part of yourself that cannot be shaken by temporary struggles. There is also a profound peace that begins to appear when you live this way. Not the kind of peace that depends on everything going perfectly, but the kind that comes from knowing you are aligned with your principles. This peace is steady. It does not disappear when life becomes uncertain. It remains because it is rooted in something deeper than circumstances. It is rooted in the quiet confidence that you are becoming someone you respect. So perhaps this moment is inviting you to see your life differently, not as a series of random events, but as a continuous opportunity to shape your character. Not as a race against others, but as a journey within yourself. Because in the end, the most meaningful victory is not over another person. It is over your former self. And every thoughtful choice you make today is proof that you are already moving forward.